All right, welcome back. So like the preview before, we're basically going to be focusing on the Dapper lighting install for the 280ZX. So here we have what I showed you last night, these gorgeous, not RGB, but basically switchback halos from Dapper that we're going to install today. So basically, first things first is you want to prep and take out the original enclosure, the retainer ring, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So here we have, you gotta take this retainer ring and then take the existing fixture out and then put the new one in, plug and play. The hard part about the install, it's fairly straightforward, is the turn signal lights. These down here, connecting the switchback to go with the indicators, the turn signal indicators. So I'm just gonna go through the process really fast. You just wanna take care to take these out carefully right here. Use a pretty good long Phillips and just don't scratch the paint basically, and take it off. We'll go from there. All right, so after doing some rethinking, there is no good instructions on how to take this ring out. You basically have your vertical and your horizontal adjustment screws here, but to the left of it, you're gonna have a mounting screw that secures this little ring. And see, I got two of them out, but there's a third one, which is really close to the side of this sugar scoop. I had to wedge cardboard underneath here and some pliers just to pry it so I can get to that screw there and unscrew it so I can take this whole retainer ring out. I was even contemplating taking the whole sugar scoop out, then I realized there are more screws here and you have to take the fender apart. And just to let you know how much of a pain in the butt in the future, here's a spare sugar scoop. It tells you how many actual screws you would have to take apart just to take this out. So yeah, that's not gonna happen. But yeah, I'll show you once I get this out, then we can go move forward. But this is what you're gonna have to do if you don't wanna scratch this up. You know, common sense dictates, hey, let's wedge something underneath there and not scratch the paint. This is what I'm doing. Anyways, moving on. All right, so here we go. Here's your three little screws right here. So, kind of annoying, but here we go. Now we can take this all out. Can't believe how old this thing is. There we go. All right, look at that. And nothing wrong with this. I'll set that aside. And there we go. From the looks of it, I don't think we're going to be using, well, yeah, I guess we could use that. I don't think that rubber piece is going to work though. There we go. I just want to make sure it's hooked up, the primary parts is hooked up, and then we'll worry about tucking in the rest of the switchback. I want to see how that looks. Oh wow, look at that. Perfect. That's gorgeous. Now I just got to get that retainer ring in there. That's gonna look nice. So if you look on this side here, yeah, it's snug, but it looks like it's gonna work. Not too bad. Okay, so in the process of installing this, thought it was going well until I started to screw this little booger in there, and guess what? It fell in the fender somewhere and I cannot find it. So I measured these, these are M4.07. So I went to the hardware store and I bought these with a hex head. The same metric fitting, those should work fine. And so then, because it's really hard to get that screwdriver in there, I decided to use a Torx screwdriver. This is what I'm using, and this is going to be so much easier to slide in that side of the side of the mounting ring because there's not much clearance and I don't want to scratch the paint. This seems like the best solution. Plus it's secure and you're less likely to lose them, but buy some extras. So this is what I had to deal with because you know it's hard to find those screws. So just in case you're doing this on your own, this is what I suggest getting. Focus, yeah. That's what you need. M4.0.7. I'm using 10 millimeters. That's the best I could find. Probably 7 would be ideal, but they look close enough. So yeah, you're gonna find this to be pretty frustrating. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I'm gonna make that work. Okay, so I've got it pretty much wired up. I didn't do the switchback yet because they do have some T connectors or they're spliced into the existing wiring harness. Look like this. And this is what we're talking about here. And a lot of 280SXs have similar lighting, some have different. The only reference I found online on YouTube was one in Australia, Raby's site for his Australian 280ZX. And he wired his to his indicators. This is harness right here. It's a little bit different than mine. The US models are different than the Australian ones. And I was looking at the wiring harness down here. And so I did tap into one of the lines here for the ground, well, for the turn signal, and I was going to connect it, but I'm looking at the ground, I'm going to connect to that one. But these other ones look a little bit thicker, so what I'm doing is I'm going to email Dapper for the US model just before I tap into that. I want to make sure I get their order correct so I can have daylight running lights as well. But I did get them hooked up, and I'm going to show you the difference and how they look. So I did the left side first. So let me turn this on for you so you have an idea. So there's your stock. And there's a Dapper without the halo on, so that's pretty bright. And what I'm doing now is I'm going to install the Dapper turn signal lights right here because I took the factory bulb out and man, look at this thing. This thing is just nasty. Yeah, look at that. So these new Dappers, and these are pretty cool looking. So I'm gonna see how that looks in there, and we're just gonna do one side of the car today, and then when I get the email back, or you know, today's a holiday, so nobody's been answering phones, I'm pretty sure. So I'm gonna install this and see how it looks here in a second. Okay, so I just installed the Dapper turn signal, and that is noticeably brighter. That is pretty cool. Let me see what it looks like when I hit the turn signal. Well, that's different. You hear that clicking? It's clicking like really, really fast. Matter of fact, yeah. And the other one's not even clicking as well, so need something. Okay. So that's normal. All right, I'll have to see what's going on with that. Ask Dapper what's going on with that. All right, so I had to advance it about 12 hours. It started to rain yesterday, so I couldn't finish the rest of it. So basically what I did was I followed the wiring loom with Chris's help, and I'm gonna give Chris the credit for this one, but we did follow this loom to the turn signals on the bumper, and we spliced into it. See if you can see the colors properly. But we got yellow going to say green, red going to red. We didn't use the white one, and we got black to ground. And we did the same thing on that side as well. I just tucked in the wires afterwards, made it nice and pretty, zip tied it down. Now the one gripe I have is that the turn signals are really, really fast. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I'll probably reach out to Dapper, see what the solution is, or just deal with it and just, you know, live with really fast blinkers. This is the way I have mine set up. There's different ways to do this. It's pretty cool. Let me turn the lights on so you see what I'm talking about. So I got amber for turn signal. There's a running light. Just the halos, right? Just running light halos. I guess the next step is to go ahead and get the alignment done. Find a nice wall somewhere and get the alignment done. And there we go. I'll have to check the high beams later on this evening. I'll probably find some wall somewhere, see if the alignment's off or not, and then adjust it from there. But yeah, this is blinking really, really fast. I guess some people like that. Sure. Maybe it takes some getting used to. I'll see if that's normal. Anyways, that's all I got. Like and subscribe, and look out for the next video.